and welcome to Binary News, your daily dose of focus gaming news. Myself, Marta. Today is the 20th of June, and this time I bring you some news from Sony, as the CEO Kazuo Hirai has pledged to turn around Sony's years of losses at their most recent shareholder meeting. Now, shareholders have actually voted to retain Hirai and other top executives, even though Sony has been losing money for 6 of the last 7 years. And Hirai did say at the meeting that this will be the year Sony fixes their, quote, money-losing structure. And this was reported by the Associated Press. And he said, quote, "The best way to build our future is for Sony to remain Sony and realise our motto to become a company that inspires and fulfills your curiosity." And Hirai apparently found himself being heckled during this shareholder meeting, as he had to repeatedly ask them to please keep quiet as he fielded questions on his performance in leading Sony, the exodus of talented people from the company, and the product quality, as well as plans for wearable products. Despite this hostility, though, nearly 6 million votes were cast in favour of his proposal, with less than 10% against. Now, of course, the television department has not been profitable for a decade and has been pretty much a giant money sink for a long time. The PS4, even though it is still very young, has already proven itself to be a profitable endeavour for the company, as even before you take software sales or PSN subscriptions into account. So, even if you're just talking in the sense of pure sales generated from the sale of the console in store or online, it is already proving itself to be generating a nice bit of cash for Sony. Now, the thing to consider, though, with the PS4 is they, of course, spent huge amounts of cash to actually build the thing. So Sony is not actually going to be making profit for a while because it's still paying back the R&D, the development, the everything else, the marketing, the millions they undoubtedly spent. So I have no idea how much a console costs to make, but it can't exactly be cheap. So it's probably going to take a while for the PS4 to actually pay for itself. Of course, it doesn't have to do it on its own. But of course, it has been going from strength to strength since it was released. And obviously, if it keeps going down that road, then it will, of course, eventually help Sony climb out of this little hole they've dug themselves in. And Hirai actually said himself back in May, quote, "From a profitability perspective, PS4 is already contributing profit on a hardware unit basis, establishing a very different business framework from that of previous platform businesses." Now, the Sony TV department may see a bit of a turnaround, of course, with the release of the PlayStation Now, but it's really tough to say. A lot of people are basically arguing that yes, Sony's TVs and other devices are great, but the price is often the issue, and I can definitely see where they're coming from. You can usually get the competitors' TVs, just for example, for about half the price. So I just think that is the main thing that's dragging them down, to be honest with you. So it's tough to say what's going to happen to Sony. I don't think they're going to go anywhere anytime soon, but not even a company as monolithic as Sony can consistently lose money, and obviously they've been, as I said at the beginning of this video, losing money for the last 6 of the last 7 years, rather. And for Sony, that's got to be a sting. Now, obviously, the research and development marketing and so on for the PS4 was probably a contributor to that. They obviously had to spend money to make money, so they're obviously losing money in regards to that. But now the PS4 is out and it's starting to pay for itself. As I said, it'll be a while before it actually puts money in the pockets of people, as it is, of course, trying to pay back for all those costs. But I'm just saying that some of those costs were undoubtedly the development of the PS4. So hopefully now that the console is out, we will see hopefully Sony climb out of this hole, especially as I said, the release of the PlayStation Now. It may help with their TV department as well. And hopefully their plan, whatever it is, because unfortunately it wasn't detailed, will actually work out for them. Anyway, guys, that is me done for this video. Let me know what you think. What do you think Sony needs to do to turn it around? I'd be curious to hear your thoughts, and I'll see you next time.